My friends and I love to go out and party on the weekends. Tonight, I happened to become the designated driver. Our friend group consisted of Keith, Luis, and Don. Since we lived in the countryside, hitting up bars and parties meant we had to travel quite a bit. As a sober driver, it was my responsibility to ensure everyone got home safely. After the party, we hopped into my car and started our journey back on the 513. The 513 was known to be completely dark roads, with no streetlights in sight, surrounded by miles of forest. The events in this story unfold during our journey back from the city. My friend Dawn started to complain about how badly she needed to use the restroom. Even though I assured her we'd find a place to stop soon, I also had a strong urge to go pee. My answer seemed to annoy Dawn even more, because she started to have a full-on temper tantrum. So I decided to pull over to the side of the unlit highway, so we could quickly use the restroom in the woods. Dawn rushed out of the car and disappeared into the woods on one side, while I went to the other side and ventured slightly into the woods to make sure no one could see me, just because I preferred some more privacy. Once I finished my business, I made my way back to the car. My two friends were in the back seat jamming out to our after-party playlist. I was in the front seat waiting for Dawn to come back so we could leave. Luis and Keith didn't seem concerned at all that Dawn had been in the woods alone for 7 minutes now. I stepped outside of the car to call out for her. Keith decided to join in. When he screamed for her, it would be impossible for her to not hear us. However, her absence persisted. I was afraid to venture back into the woods, but I felt some sort of obligation to look for her, since I knew she would do the same. Keith came with me, since there were safety in numbers. Luis was too drunk to even comprehend what was happening, so we left her in the car. Armed with a flashlight from the glove box, I dragged Keith into the crops. We just walked straight ahead, hoping we'd somehow find her. Once I looked back, I could see the silhouette of the car getting further and further. I don't think Keith understood how serious the situation was, because he kept laughing while calling out for Dawn. Although his jokes annoyed me, I couldn't help but worry about what happened to her. Between our footsteps crunching the grass underneath us, and Keith's laughing, my ears picked up something in the distance. I reached my hand in front of Keith so he stopped walking for a second. The only sounds were the wind rustling the trees. Keith whispered to ask me what was happening. I quickly shushed him so I could hear better. The sounds of footsteps became louder. "Do you hear that?" Keith called out Dawn's name again. I shouted out as well, almost relieved that we could hear her so nearby. However, the footsteps had stopped completely. The two of us decided to walk further into the crops. We somehow came across another road, not the previous one we'd been on. I looked left as far as the moon illuminated the street, then right. I could hear 3 different pairs of footsteps approaching me. A hand reached out to push the tree leaves aside, and a person stepped into view. At first, my flashlight only revealed their legs, so I thought it was Keith. However, once I backed up, I realized the figure was not him. It was a complete stranger I'd never seen before. I sprinted back towards the direction I had come from. My legs ran so fast, it only took me 15 seconds to make it back to my car. Louise was knocked out in the back, so I knew she'd be no help. I blasted the horn, in hopes of catching Dawn and Keith's attention. The strange man's face kept replaying in my mind. I wasn't sure if he was someone dangerous or not. I continued pressing the horn until Keith emerged out of the darkness, holding Dawn. She was motionless in his arms. I stepped out of the car and helped him lay her down in the back seat, next to Louise. Keith pointed at her forehead, and I noticed a big wound. It looked like someone had hit her with something hard. The situation at hand made Keith sober up fast. He told me to start driving to the closest hospital, which was about 15 minutes away. The drive there consisted of lots of yelling between us. I had no idea what had happened to her. Once we got there, we took Dawn in to make sure her cut received proper treatment. While she was being treated, Keith began to tell the nurses that he saw some guy dragging her unconscious body, but ran away into the woods once he saw him. Although he didn't say anything in the car, I began to put the puzzle pieces together. The strange man lurking in the woods was responsible for this. Thank you for watching. This is actually a very old video, but I redid the voiceover so I was able to re-upload it, since I got lots of comments asking me to. Also, my keychains are now back up in my Etsy store for a limited time. If any of you guys are interested, link in the description below. So goodbye for now, but not forever.